You know how people fucking say stuff like, "Oh, dude, remember who you're fighting for," you know, that kind of thing. Remember who you're fighting for, and it's like the fucking grunt and the helmet, and there's a photo inside of it, and it's just inside of that photo should just be a photo of this, and then a photo of Jeffrey Epstein, and a photo of maybe Benjamin Netanyahu. You know, like if you're in the Delta Force and you're like, "Hell yeah, brother, I trained my whole life so I can fucking do hoorah shit, do cool ass military stuff like I watched in the movies." And then you take your helmet off and you look down at it, and it's just a photo of a fucking countries with the largest oil reserves. Remember who you're doing this for, okay? You are fighting for the bottom line of Exxon, Chevron, Shell Corporation, Halliburton, British Petroleum. You are fighting for them, okay? You're not fighting for yourself. You're not fighting for anybody. You're not fighting for freedom, democracy, any of these fucking bullshit ass liberal values that people actually use to. Yep, that's it. Yep, exactly. Never forget who you're fighting for, okay? Just remember that. You're fighting for this. You know, oh yeah, I watched Delta Force. I played all the video games. I'm fucking so sick. Okay, cool. Livid? I mean, there's not really much one can do here. There's not really much one can say or do. What do you say? What do you do? America's on autopilot. That's just the reality. That's it. America's just on autopilot. It's like 70% of the country could be like, I don't want this to happen. And Trump will be like, nope, it's happening. And everyone thinks it's awesome. Great day to be an America First bootlegger who voted for the most Israel First admin that guts social programs, won't fix infrastructure, cuts tax for the super wealthy, and spends all of its money instead on bombing Venezuela and stealing its oil for super profits of the pedophilic elite. I don't know why XQC is saying this because he's already made a woke pivot. I'm a little bit confused by that. Because although he did, hype up Donald Trump and stuff, he is making a woke pivot as of late. I mean, he was one of the only content creators I saw come out of the gates swinging against the Nick Shirley shit. Maybe he's laughing at Americans, probably. Because I don't think XQC will defend the Trump administration all that much. So not sure what he means here. Probably making fun of Americans, which we deserve it. Let's be real. Maybe he's posting this Maoistly. Yeah, he's a Maoist third worldist. Saw that motherfucker arguing with his audience for 3 hours on how dog shit the Nick Shirley video is. Motherfucker's a professional contrarian. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I saw his Nick Shirley video. It was actually surprising. It was a breath of fresh air seeing... it was actually a breath of fresh air seeing him say stuff like, what if, this is what I saw. This video is actually pretty solid. And I think he realizes that, the attitude has shifted. He's better at room reading than many others are. So great take from XC. Let's take a look.
That is not going to directly benefit us and our communities is absolutely insane.
Okay, well, I mean, then your money's going to Israel. Does that not outrage you in any way or what? Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. So now what? What? By comparison, if you had $1 and you pay in taxes, let's give it a buck. 50 cents went to the army, 1 cent went to the Somali, whatever the fuck you claim, and probably 30 cents went to Israel. Now what? Now what? But no, oh my God, guys, watch out. Guys, the fucking Somali. Fuck, man.
He's saying if you got $1, if you're from every $1 that you spend in your taxes, 1 cent went to like Somalis doing fraud with it, but 50 cents on the dollar went to Israel and the rest of it went to the American military, then who do you think is a bigger recipient, or who do you think is a bigger fraudster? Is it the random Somali guy that you suspect of doing fraud, or is it the nation state of Israel? And he's right. This is the correct attitude to have in this situation. I will, of course, go back to translating XQC Pepega speak now that he has decided that he's every now and then going to have some good takes, such as this one. But yeah, that's the situation. Overall, I know that for a lot of people, their only assessment of the world revolves around like what their least favorite content creator is saying and doing, right? Someone like myself, they'll be like, oh, does this trigger Hassan? Then it's probably a good thing. I just need you to understand, this is not a moment where I'm like, oh my God, triggered or whatever. I'm just frustrated. I'm always frustrated. Nothing is going to change. But you have to understand why I'm frustrated, right? in your mind, you might assume that I'm frustrated because, oh, I had this like unlimited loyalty to Maduro, right? Or Maduro is a socialist, he's a communist. You're triggered because a communist is getting their comeuppance or whatever. No, I don't give a shit about any of that stuff. What I do care about is exactly what I'm saying, okay? As an American taxpayer, I want these fucking taxes to actually fund the infrastructure. I want these taxes to fund our schools. I want these taxes to fund a robust welfare structure that actually helps regular ass Americans like many of you that are sitting in this chat who are excited at the prospect of getting an ownage on a epic own on a triggered libtard or whatever. Okay? And I believe that every single action that's taken, every time that we decide to send the military over there to bomb another country so that we can actually directly steal their natural resources, we're actually destabilizing the world pretty significantly. We're causing mass displacement to take place. We're actually making sure that everyone in the global south is constantly fucking kept down. And on top of that, none of those profits are even coming back to your pockets anyway, right? All of that is directly going into the pockets of the super, super wealthy. But a lot of you, I think, have deluded yourselves into this false fantasy that as long as America is dominating other countries, it's kind of like I'm on that team and I'm dominating them too. You're not. You're actually being dominated pretty aggressively, and you will never really realize it unless you fucking snap out of it, right? There's a reason why many people in the, America First contingency were saying, oh, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump because he's the peace president, right? Kamala Harris is a warmonger. Donald Trump is going to do peace. And obviously, Donald Trump was never going to do peace, as I said over and over again throughout the election cycle. And it was very frustrating because the Democrats didn't actually take a pro-peace position at all. They thought that they could outflank the Republicans on like hyper-patriotism or whatever when they own that space in its entirety. Having said that, this is just pure terrorism. It's immoral. It's bullshit. But it's not even pure terrorism that's actually going to line up your pockets. But at least, I guess, in the most pathetic way possible, you can feel like you're powerful because the American government is projecting power, right? I guess that's it. I guess that's what you can look forward to in your dog shit ass life.
Christ, man. My shit's not, my shit's cold in my room. Fucking Somali. Yo, my money... I'm not being paid a lot to find my job. Fucking Somali. Fucking fuck, man.
How can you be so frustrated with your life of luxury and boundless happiness? You are not actually doing anything to change the world. You only bitch and bitch. This is true. And I always find this kind of commentary to be pretty funny because this is basically saying, brother, you're rich. Why don't you just go do rich guy stuff? Why don't you go invest in Lockheed Martin stocks? Why don't you go invest in ExxonMobil stocks and just keep collecting cash? You already won. You could do capital accumulation. Why don't you go join the ranks of the actual elite instead of consistently advocating against them? Now, instead of realizing that maybe it's because this is just my worldview and I think that we could do better, a better future is possible, better redistributive policies are possible, and that I will continuously stubbornly defend those principles, you just don't understand it. You're like, why don't you just do the same thing that, Richard Branson is doing? And I find it very strange. You have no money, okay? You got no bitches. You got no capital. You're defending capitalism. You're defending American imperialism. You're not even getting any of the fucking super profits. So why the fuck are you defending that? At least if I'm a class trader, I'm taking an honorable stance here. You are a class trader, and it's actually against your best interest. No, I say you don't do nothing but bitch. Go help people. Go feed the poor. Go help people who need help. Okay, I am doing that, but that's besides the point. You're just mad that I'm fucking talking. Okay, you're mad that I'm criticizing America in this moment. So you have to be like, no, you. And it's partially because I'll keep it a buck. It's partially because I'm accessible and the American president and the pedophilic elite are not accessible. So in your mind, it's probably much easier to just like go chirp in the fucking chat of a Twitch streamer who ultimately has no power, but at least with the marginal amount of influence he has is trying to do what is best, right? Trying to organize people, trying to push people in the right direction, trying to do broad awareness, But that's it. If I'm doing nothing, what the fuck are you doing? All you're doing is yelling in a Twitch chat. All you're doing is typing in a Twitch chat at the end of the day. And the reason why you're doing that is because you can't actually break through to any of these actual people with positions of power. So in your mind, you have to turn around and make me seem to be like this most powerful person in your life. That's it. U.S. wimped out on a land war in Europe and 2-decade hostile posture towards China so we could return to his pastime of brutalizing Latin America. I know American imperial hegemony appears as unchecked as ever, but this behavior of a power in decline, looking for weaker and weaker opponents to beat up in lieu of any other national project. I mean, that's precisely what's going on here. Yeah. It is pretty funny to watch people do this thing, though. Like, I'm just sick. America's one of the most disgusting countries in all of human history. Move there, then busta. What? Saying you don't actually like America's unimaginably violent actions overseas means that you should go and like live under the bombing campaign is such a strange argument. It's not an argument at all. And I assume that this GIF that he was posting was actually just a GIF of how he's feeling at this very moment when he typed this, rather than saying that Anthony Fantano is stupid. You know, I'm confused by this, but he has made a woke pivot on some things, but I guess not on this one. But maybe he'll download the correct talking points in a little bit. I suspect that the correct talking points will be downloaded once he watches, like, I don't know, the last Destiny video or something. And then, you know, whatever position he takes, XQC will try to also repeat. But I'm here for it when he takes the woke position every now and then. Bro, does bro think Canada is safe? The Yakubian audacity. Professional contrarian, when it becomes popular, he will go against it or when D tells him what to think. Yeah. Not that it matters. Why the fuck are we talking about what XQC has to say about anything? Is this how far we have devolved? The answer, I guess, is yes. It is how far we have devolved. This is kind of, you know, this is kind of the way we operate, I guess. It's pretty funny that the American government is not even like giving us the dignity of lying nowadays. That's pretty, I find that very interesting. Like they didn't even try to put out like a strong propaganda front to be like, this is why we have to do it. You know, they didn't even manufacture consent. They were just like, oh, you guys hate this? Well, guess what? We're going to do it anyway. Suck my dick. And plenty of people will look at that and go, no, we'll suck your dick, sir, Mr. President. We love that you are so powerful. We love that you make us feel powerful, because that's where we're at nowadays. I think it's just like people want soothing, right? I think people are desperate to feel like they have any sort of control in their lives, any sort of power in their lives. And I guess American militancy, American adventurism, the American empire projecting its strength, even though it's literally dying. And these are the dying gasps of a dying empire. And many people don't realize it. Will make them feel a little bit better about their current position, their current conditions. But here is JD Vance, everyone's least favorite vice president, saying, the president offered multiple off-ramps, but was very clear throughout this process. The drug trafficking must stop. I love that one. Hey, drug trafficking. Okay, there you go. I love that. This is. It's cool. It's cool. He's like, he's doing the actually all the time. Like this is it. He is Mr. actually, which is pretty awesome. He has to actually everything. Donald Trump will just come out and be like, I think Venezuela is woke and gay. That's why I invaded it, because I hate it. And also because I think they stole the election in 2020. And JD Vance has to be like, actually, the reason why we're invading Venezuela is because they're actually a narco trafficking hub, even though there's no evidence to suggest this. And no one is really even trying to fake evidence to make it seem like that's really the case.